MAT 0018, review for test 3, decimal portion, and this is part 2. We're starting at problem number 9, 3.312 divided by 0.92. This one has to go in a long division grid. So put your divisor, the number after the divide sign, on the outside, 0.92 into 3.312. The first thing you have to do is to take care of your decimal. You're not allowed to divide with a decimal in the divisor, so it has to move to the end. It moved 2 spaces. You have to compensate for that underneath and move the same amount of spaces in the same direction. So we have to go 2 places to the right with our decimal and then take it straight up. Then we're ready to divide. So we're dividing by 92. We can't go into 33, so we have to go into 331. I would guess 392 is kind of close to 100. So we'll guess a 3, multiply back. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 9 is 27. Subtract. So we're going to have to borrow here. 11 minus 6 will be 5. And we're borrowing again. 12 minus 7 will be 5. Bring down. And 92 into 552. If we were thinking this is about 100, we might guess 5. But we're about 10 short, and here we're over. So I'm going to guess 6 instead of 5. You could guess 5, and if it's not right, you could try again. We'll multiply back. 6 times 2 is 12. So we're going to carry. 6 nines are 54, and 1 is 55. So this one actually goes even, 3.6. Next we have 24 divided by 0.03. So we have to set up with long division. 0.03 on the outside. We're going into 24. Your first step is get rid of any decimal in the divisor. It has to move to the end. We move 2 spaces, we move to the right. You have to do the same thing underneath. If you don't see a decimal, remember it's after the number. Now we have to move it 2 places to the right. So add your 2 zeros, move the decimal, and take it straight up. Then you're ready to divide. So 3, we can go into 24. It will go 8 times, multiply back. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract, bring down. 3 won't go into 0. And 0 times 3 is 0. Bring down. 3 into 0 won't go. 0 times 3 is 0. So make sure you get all the way back up to the decimal. Next, we're going to divide 0.549 by 0.023 and round the quotient to the nearest hundredth. So that's a clue right off that this one is not going to turn out nice. So we're dividing by the 0.023. That has to go on the outside. We're dividing into 0.549. The first job is to get the decimal out of the divisor. So it's going to move 3 places to the right. You have to do the same thing underneath. Take your decimal straight up. Then we're ready to divide. 23, we can go into 54 2 times. Multiply back. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract. So we're borrowing here. And 14 minus 6 is 8. Bring down. 23 into 89. So 20, 40, 60, 80. 4 except 4 times 3 would be 12. That's going to push you over. So we'll have to go with just 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract. And that is lower than our divisor, so we did it correctly. Add a 0 and bring down. So 23 into 200. If it was 25, we would say 4 into 100 and 4 more, so we would say 8. It's a little less, so we'll guess 8. 8 threes are 24. Carry a 2. 8 twos are 16, 17, 18. Subtract. So we're borrowing. 10 minus 4 is 6. And 9 minus 8 is 1. We're going to add another 0. And bring down. Then we're ready to divide again. So 23 into 160. I'm going to guess 6. Multiply back. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry 1. 6 twos are 12, 13. We'll subtract, so we have to borrow here. 10 minus 8 is 2. And 5 minus 3 is 2. So we're good. We stayed less than the divisor. And we need to see one more place because they told us to round to the nearest hundredth. So we need to just see the next digit. We will add one more 0. Bring down. And we're doing 23 into 220. So into 100 would be 4. Into 200 would be 8. And I think one more would be 9. 9 threes are 27. 9 twos are 18, 19, 20. So we're good there. We just needed to see that digit. Right. The 6 is the hundredths place. We look at the 9, it's going to push us up. So our answer is 23.87. This one was a lot of work. A long division with decimals is slow. Just take your time. Next, we're going to estimate to the nearest whole number. Anytime it says estimate, they want you to round before you do the math. So to our nearest whole number would be the ones place. So this will round. A 3 will cause us to just drop it off. If it was 5 or higher, we would round up. So this will be 7. And an 8 is going to push us up. So 7 minus 4 gives us 3. This is to the nearest whole number. Our next problem is an order of operations problem. So you have to remember which comes first. These parentheses don't really matter. There's no math inside. There's no exponents. Third level is multiplication or division left to right. So we have 2 multiplications to do. And in this multiplication, we can use our shortcut of multiplying by a power of 10. Remember, when you multiply by a power of 10, it moves the decimal to the right as many places as you have zeros in your power of 10. So by 100, we'll move your decimal to the right 2 places, giving us 820. Then we'll work on the other one, 8.2 times 10. Your 10 will move your decimal to the right 1 space to give us 82. So we have 820 minus 82. We have to borrow. So 10 minus 2 is 8, and we have to borrow again. 11 minus 8 is 3. 738. Next, we're going to evaluate 0.4 squared. And so we're going to use our definition of exponents, which still means to take the base times itself 2 times. So we have 0.4 times 0.4. And then we work it out with our multiplication of decimals. Remember, we write it vertically. And we're right aligning. It just happened to line up the decimal, but that doesn't really matter. And then we multiply. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 0 is 0 plus the 1 we carried. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. 6, 1, 0. We're adding. And then we count our total decimal places. We have 2 digits after the decimal. That's what we need in our answer. So go in from the right, go toward the left, 2 places. So 0.16. Problem 15 is also an order of operations problem, and it is in vertical form. So we will do all the numerator. Our denominator is already finished, and then we'll do the division. So on the numerator, these are just add and subtract. These are different signs, so they're going to subtract. And so we have to write the larger number on top. So 3.19 needs to go on top, and 0.707 underneath. We have to fill in any missing zeros, and then we'll subtract. So we're going to have to borrow here. 10 minus 7 is 3. 8 minus 0 is 8. To borrow. 11 minus 7 is 4. And 2 minus 0 is 2. Bring your decimal straight down. And it would have been sign of the larger. All right, so this is our numerator, negative 2.483. And we're going to divide that by 13. So now we have a long division. 13 into 2.483. Go ahead and deal with your signs. There's only one negative. That's odd, so negative. Check about a decimal in your divisor. You do not have a decimal in your divisor this time, so your decimal should go straight up. We're ready to divide. So 13 into 24. It's only going to go one time. Multiply back. 1 times 13 is 13. Subtract and bring down. And 13 into 118 will go 9 times. Multiply back. 9 times 3 is 27. We have to carry. 9 ones are 9, 10, 11. Subtract. Bring down. And divide again. 13 into 13 goes one time. So this one ends even. So negative 0.191. If you wrote the 0 in front, that is also correct.